Most agents think that open houses are only for buyers. Top producers, they know better. Stick around. Over the next couple minutes, I'm going to explain to you why open houses are the number one, hands down, best source for leads and best source for near income. And what I mean by that is closings in the next 30, 60, 90 days. Yeah, there's other items that we can be doing, other lead generation activities that we could be doing. But for income now in the next 30, 60, 90 days, there's no better lead source than open houses. But why? Well, first and foremost, let's talk about the buy side. That's what most people want to look at, and that's what most people discuss. And honestly, that's why most agents do open houses, is that they want to pick up buyers. I always hear this with my new agents. My new coaching clients will always say, I don't want to do open houses because I want to work with sellers. I don't want to work with buyers. Sure, open houses are a great resource for picking up buyers. Obviously, you have a pool of buyers that are coming through and they're interested in the property. You have to separate and weed out the contenders from the pretenders and those that are really looking to buy a property versus those that are the nosy neighbors, the tire kickers, those that are just there's folks that will drive around on weekends just to look at open houses for entertainment. And you know what? That's par for the course. That's going to be normal. That's what you're going to deal with on any given basis. But when you're doing open houses, your job and your role and your goal is really to extract the contenders from the pretenders and identify those that are ready, willing, and able to buy a home in the next 30, 60, 90 days. And I will tell you the number one way to do this, and a lot of agents get a little shy about doing this, is just really jumping in the buyer's lap in regard to pre-approval. Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, are you pre-approved? Have you been pre-approved? Have you spoken to a lender in regard to your purchasing power? And now you're going to hear a bunch of excuses on why they're not pre-approved. Well, your job is to consult them on why they should get pre-approved. Well, one, how do they really know what they can afford? How do they know if they're looking at a home in their price point? How do they really know if they factored in principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, and potentially Mello-Roos in the area and all the costs associated with it? Because what they may think is one cost because they plugged it into an online system is going to be a completely different cost down the road. Also, by being pre-approved, you have your value range, or your range of knowing what your purchasing power is and what you're able to buy. So your role and your goal as an agent is to educate them on the importance of the pre-approval process. Now, if they shy away from that pre-approval process or they don't go through it, I personally choose not to work with them. Because they're not putting forth the time, effort, and energy. And that puts those folks in the category of pretenders. Yeah, they may have the best of intentions of buying a house. They may want to buy a house, and that's awesome. But for our hourly time and our investment of time and our return on investment of time spent with individuals, we need to have those that are able, not just ready and wanting, but those that are able to buy a home, and that comes through pre-approval. So there's an entire scripting process, and we can go more into scripts and dialogues at a later date, but there's an entire scripting process that goes into finding out if a buyer's pre-approved, if they're not pre-approved, why they're not pre-approved, and most importantly, educating them as to the benefits of being pre-approved and then moving them down that process. Chances are, if you're doing an open house and somebody comes in that's not pre-approved, as long as you establish agency with a potential buyer, generally, if you have agency established and a buyer representation agreement and you choose to bring them down that path of getting them pre-approved, there's a lot of educational opportunities for you, and there's a lot of opportunities for you to establish their trust through the process and start leading a buyer through the process of what it looks like to go from, hey, I'm interested in this home, to, hey, I've been approved and I'm ready to purchase this home. Let's put pen to paper and actually draft a contract. That's your opportunity to lead and shine as a real estate professional. But don't be afraid to have that money conversation about, are they pre-approved? If they're not, why not? And how can we get them pre-approved? What questions, comments, or concerns do they have? And can you get them connected with a lender, or do they have somebody that they choose that they want to work with? But either way, lead them through that process. But those are your buyers. You have a pool of buyers that are coming through the open house. Your role and your goal is to identify who is able to buy a home. And maybe it's not that home. Maybe it is that home. But if it's not that home, then once they're approved, you can put them in your car and go show them other properties as well. And with that said, you can hopefully have a contract written and in escrow within a few days or a few weeks. The other side of this, and this is the lesser known secret that top producers really know about, is open houses really are for generating sellers. If they are done correctly, they can generate massive amounts of sellers. And to understand this, let's look at it from a local neighborhood. Think of your neighborhood. I'm going to think of my neighborhood, and let's just make up a mock neighborhood called Anytown, USA. Well, Anytown, USA has 1,000 homes in it, and in that town, 1,000 homes, let's just say 10 of them are for sale. And out of those 10 homes that are for sale, there's a very aggressive agent in that neighborhood of Anytown, and that agent hosts open houses not once every weekend, but 3 to 5 times per week. And in this Anytown, USA, you have 1,000 homes, and you have people going to the grocery store and going to soccer practice and going to baseball and to sports and to ballet and going to work and getting coffee, going grocery shopping. They're in and out of the neighborhood, right? The cul-de-sacs, they're driving through, they're living their life. And if this agent is hosting an open house 3 to 5 times per week, and this agent has 20, 30, 40, 50 branded real estate signs throughout the neighborhood with their face, their number, their DRE license number, their brokerage, but it's branded to the agent. If those signs are out there every single week as folks are going about living their life, and those open houses are 3 to 5 times per week for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, do you think that there's some branding there? Do you think there's some top of mind that is borrowed? Do you think there's some market share that's achieved? Do you think that if those sellers during that period of time were thinking of selling their house, that they would call that agent that's in their neighborhood every single week, at least for an interview? The answer is yes. You're darn right they will. And the ability to essentially set up shop in that neighborhood and put your sign, all 50 of them, in that neighborhood creates a market awareness that is second to none. But most agents, not anybody watching this, but most agents are lazy. They won't do 3 to 5 open houses per week. They won't put out 30, 40, 50 signs. Why? Because it's a lot of work. But I tell you what, team, if you have the opportunity to sit in an open house for 2, 3, 4, 5 hours per day, 3 to 5 times per week, and use that home as your office while you're doing your prospecting, your cold calling, if you choose to cold call, and your email campaigns and your marketing and your social media, basically just utilizing that as your office and greeting folks as they come in. It's a powerful way to, well, for lack of better words, kill 2 birds with 1 stone. You can be extremely productive and host an open house and create brand awareness and market share all in one big swoop. How do we turn these prospects, these folks that are coming through, to actual clients? Well, folks are going to come through, and I talked about it. We're going to have a conversation about the pre-qualification. For me, that is a non-starter. If you're not ready or able, or if you don't want to, or you resist, there's the word I'm looking for. If you resist getting pre-approved, then I'm going to choose not to work with you because there's not effort on your part. But if they are willing to work in and get pre-approved, those people are going to a very special bucket, and they're going to get followed up on and called every 3 or 4 days, and we're going to go out and look at properties on the weekend. For those that are in the pre-approval process, they're going to get a call every single week just to find out where they are in that process. But essentially, long story short, keeping it simple, get the buyers that come through, put them into a database, and follow up with them on a regular basis and find out where they are in the process. Those that are closest to the buy side of the cycle, meaning they've gotten their pre-approval, then by all means, put more time, effort, and energy into them, take them out, show them property. For those that are a little further along and haven't quite got their pre-approval yet, then, help them along with the process and move them through that overall process. But you must have a CRM of some sort. You must have some follow-up system. And just generating leads is not enough. We must follow up with the leads on an extremely regular basis. Whether you use a notepad whether you use a CRM. Heck, in the early days, I used to use the 3x5 index cards, the blue one, the yellow one, and the white one. And they meant different things, 30 to 60 days, 60 to 90, 90 to 180 days. And based on that, they got a different frequency of follow-up. That's how I launched my career. But the thing is, you have to capture those leads and then you have to follow up with the leads. So to bring this video home, team, open houses are the most powerful way to generate leads for now or near future income in real estate. Why? Because you have motivated buyers coming through the door and you have the opportunity to set up shop, market yourself in a specific area, and generate leads of potential sellers. With that, team, go out, put these systems in play. If you have questions, comments, concerns, or you just want to talk about real estate, shoot me a DM. Links in the bottom if you want to schedule a call, talk about maybe joining my team. I am growing my team, or if you just want to work with us in our coaching organization, that's fine as well. But either way, team, you're powerful. I believe in you. I want you to believe in you and get after it. Talk soon, everybody. Bye-bye.